and welcome back to the most amazing channel on the internet. Just when you thought that everyone had forgotten about Area 51 and it had returned to the conceptual desert from whence it came, you guys wanted a part 3 to this video. So, I mean, honestly though, I don't have to mention Area 51 at all after saying the title, so I shall say it. This is the top 10 places scarier than Area 51 Part 3. You love it. You love a scary place. You spooky ghouls. I kinda feel like this series is the YouTube version of the Dark Tourist TV show, except I don't actually get to go anywhere. Never mind. Shout out to David Farrier. If you want to make a season 2 to Dark Tourist, please can I be your co-host, because I'm good with spooks. I still also haven't given up my dream of being the doctor's assistant one day. Please! Stick around to the end of the video guys, because I'm going to be reading out some comments, and if you like our content then please do leave a thumbs up, and why not check out the links in the description box for further information on our sources and links to our most amazing Instagrams. Alright, let's do this. Coming in at number 10 we have the Hill of Crosses in Lithuania. A hill of 200,000 crosses dating back over 100 years. Yikes. It seems that people have been making pilgrimages to the hill in the northern part of the Baltic country since the 1800s, and now the spot looks something from a gothic horror movie. I imagine it's very terrifying at night. A lot of people believe that the crosses started cropping up to mark the victims of revolt against the Russian regime in 1831 and 1863. During the Soviet era, the site was set alight by the Soviets, but it was rebuilt in the cover of darkness. Coming in at number 9, we have the Tower of London. Shout out England. So the Tower of London, aka one of the most haunted places in the world, let alone England, is utterly horrifying, much scarier than Area 51. The Tower of London has been home to many murders, and it appears to have the ghosts to show for it. The spooks of the Tower of London are two-pronged. On the one hand there are the ghosts, and on the second hand there are the crows. The tower has been the prison and death spot of some of the most famous people in British history, including Henry VIII's wife Anne Boleyn, who was beheaded here in 1536. She is said to haunt the tower to this day. Also haunting the tower are 2 young princes who were killed on the orders of Richard III. Now the 2 youngsters still appear to this day to other children who visit the tower on school trips. The most dramatic ghost is the Countess of Salisbury, who had a very grisly death here indeed. She broke free of her executioner, who instead of chopping her head clean off with an axe, kinda made a bad job of it. She can be spotted running around and heard screaming in the castle grounds. Oh, and there's also the ghost of a bear. It seems that exotic animals used to be kept in the grounds, and the disgruntled spirit of a giant captive bear is still roaming free. Although, not free. Never free, sadly. Now for the crows. Now the crows are a symbol of bad omens, witchcraft and death. There are a lot of crows at the Tower of London, and legend has it, if the crows ever leave, England will fall. It seems that the intensity of this place is palpable. One tourist had a turn when she was on a guided tour of the tower. It said that she was in one of the rooms used to imprison former enemies of the crown when she broke down screaming, I quote, "There's just so much suffering." Scary, right? Coming into number 8 we have the Bermuda Triangle. I have never talked about the flipping Bermuda Triangle more in my life than during the period that I have worked at this channel, because it's like mentioned all the time. You guys love it, it's ridiculous. But here we go again. Let me give you my best hosting voice for this. Forget Area 51, the dread is in the seabed. That's right, I'm talking about the Bermuda Triangle. See? Good hosting voice. There have been 12 notable aircraft incidents and 10 notable sea incidents in which some 300 people have lost their lives. Some cite mystic fogs, some say explosive gas bombs underground, others claim magnetic fields and forces, and other people pin the drama on underwater aliens, because why not? Whatever is happening in the Bermuda Triangle, the fact that it is a large expanse of deep dark ocean makes it far scarier than Area 51. Speaking of deep dark ocean, shall we discuss the Mariana Trench? I think we shall. It's coming into number 7. The Mariana Trench, for those of you who don't know, is the very deepest part of the ocean, and it's located near Guam, which is pretty far out in the middle of the Philippine Sea. The Mariana Trench is pretty huge too. It spans 1,580 miles in length and 43 miles in width. The deepest part of the trench is called the Challenger Deep, which is officially 10,994 meters below sea level, so 36,070 feet down. However, some unconfirmed reports add a further 40 or so meters to that depth, which is crazy. So the very bottom of the most remote part of the ocean is a pretty intense concept. It would be nearly pitch black down there, and also the pressure would be crushing. Movie director James Cameron has actually been down there, and travelling back up to the surface does mean a rigorous process of decompression. If you come up too quickly, cutting a long story short, basically, you'll go pop. A 2016 research expedition found very high levels of a chemical toxin called PCB in the sediment of the trench. Now, this toxin was banned on land in the 70s because it can cause liver damage and affect hormones. So, yeah, many reasons to be afraid of the trench. Also, sea monsters, you know? This is so sad. At number 6, we have the Cambodian killing fields. If you don't know about the Cambodian killing fields, well, I feel like you need to. Pol Pot and the Khmer Rouge regime organised the mass genocide of almost 1.5 million people in just 4 years, which is a lot of quick killing. Following the downfall of the regime in 1979, 20,000 mass graves were discovered with thousands of bodies in every single one of them. Piles upon piles of skulls and bones still litter the landscape. Many of these people were from religions banned by the regime, such as ethnic Chinese, Vietnamese, Muslims, and 20 other minorities, as well as those who threatened the regime's communist ideology. Do you want to see some images of the mass graves? I mean, you probably don't, but I imagine a photo is better than being there. It looks truly haunting. It isn't just the memory of the regime that echoes through Cambodia. I imagine that there are a fair few ghosts too. Speaking of ghosts, coming into number 5, we have the Amityville Horror House. In 2016, it was reported that the Amityville Horror House was for sale. Imagine being the realtor. I bet they were like, 3.5 bedrooms, 2 spacious bathrooms, and a poltergeist. Honestly, I don't know if it was ever solved, but like, mate, I really would rather you than me. I say that like I've got enough money to buy a house. I'd probably actually have to settle with a horror house with my negligible budget, but still. Ghouls! So, let's take it to 112 Ocean Avenue, Long Island. Self-confessed expert demonologists Ed and Lorraine Warren investigated the property, and of the many cases that the pair were involved in their time, they both claimed that this was the absolute worst. In fact, Lorraine said that she was scared to ever return. The story goes that in 1974, 23-year-old Ronald J. Defoe Jr. murdered his entire family while they slept at their home. He killed 6 people. Now, these were his 4 siblings and his parents. He said that he'd heard voices that told him to do it. Now, 1 year later, the house was eventually purchased for $80,000, which was a lot in its day. The buyers, the Lutz family, stayed just 28 days because of the horror they experienced. George and Kathy Lutz said that they saw slime coming out of the walls, knives being thrown from counters, they saw figures wandering and wailing. George even said that he saw his wife levitating and an evil red-eyed pig-like creature glaring at him. Ed and Lorraine were brought in along with priests to rid the house of spirits, but the general consensus is that they stuck around. Speaking of spirits, at number 4 we have the Akigahara Forest in Japan. If you feel like that name is familiar, it's probably because somewhere at the back of your mind you remember the YouTube scandal with Logan Paul in early 2018. Akigahara is a forest at the base of Mount Fuji that formed over lava. Explosive. Parts of the forest are very, very dense, and it's possible to get lost in the jumble of trees, which is perhaps why the area has very sadly become a draw for those looking to end their lives. The forest is considered to be one of the most popular suicide spots in the world, and it is estimated that around 200 people each year contemplate suicide, with around half going through with it. There aren't official numbers, it could be more. The Japanese government kind of want to disassociate death from the forest image. It should just be a lovely forest, right? A lot of reports of ghosts have come from the forest too. In fact, a popular Japanese legend says that the forest is home to Yuri, ghosts that will never find rest. Coming into number 3, we have the JSA. Often referred to as the scariest place in the world, the Joint Security Area is the infamous spot that joins North Korea and South Korea, where in the past soldiers have stood guard and ready to face one another. Landmines and other explosives line the divide. Now, North Korea is notoriously volatile and has made constant threats to its neighbour, and the space between the two nations has historically been very tense. If you were caught in the JSA, likely you would be killed on sight, as they aren't running any risks here. In recent years, aggression has scaled back, and it seems as if South Korea and North Korea might be trying to put aside their beef. That being said, I still wouldn't want to be in the no man's land between the two nations. A place I also wouldn't want to be caught short. Coming into number 2, we have Fort Knox. You think that the place America may or may not keep its aliens is scary? Mate, imagine how scary the place America keeps its money must be. Fort Knox is home to the United States Bullion Depository, which holds half the country's wealth. Now, Fort Knox is absolutely a no-entry zone. It's got armed guards and high-tech defense mechanisms. If you're not supposed to be there, then I'm sure you'll be disposed of in one way or another. Recently, the United States Treasury said that Fort Knox is equipped with the latest and most modern protective devices, which, to me, sounds pretty threatening. Although, let's be fair, it's only really a scary place for baddies. Most people will be very happy that the wealth of a country is so safe. That being said, I wouldn't go storming this building anytime soon, or, ever. Okay, we've talked about some scary places, and I know that our Earth-dwelling brains can't really deal with this, but honestly, are there many places scarier than our number 1? The Eye of Jupiter! Haha, no, they're not. The Red Eye of Jupiter is a storm that has been observed raging since 1830, so, just a casual 189-year massive thunderstorm. Now I say massive, let's put this into context. The storm is, wait for it, 12,400 miles long and 7,500 miles wide, which is, lol, 2 or 3-ish times the size of the Earth. So when I say that's a big storm, I really mean it. The storm should, in theory, have dispersed after a few decades, but honey just keeps on raging, and it's a mystery, but not a mystery I want to be face to face with. Jupiter is very far from home and not in the least bit livable to us humans, so showing up in the most tempestuous part of it, well, it would be an interesting kind of death. Oh, well, that was that, wasn't it? That was the top 10 places scarier than Area 51 Part 3. Do you want a part 4? Let me know in the comment section down below. Also, let me know where you think the scariest place is. Before I go, I'm just gonna read some comments from a recent video I did, the top 10 mysterious people in history part 4. Triminix Gamer Awesomeness said Rebecca Felgate should be the boss of most amazing top 10 YouTube channel. Thanks, friend! Maybe I should, but honestly, that's just not how it works. Although, if we are playing dress up, I'd rather be queen than boss, because there are just less people talking back, and if they do, off with their head. I'm joking. I mean, I'm sort of joking. Chris Proling said, "Hi, I discovered this channel by watching your Harry Potter videos. I know Harry Potter is a bit old, but can you do more videos of it?" I'm actually, honestly, shocked and excited that you found Most Amazing Top 10, one of the biggest YouTube channels out there, through me, which is pretty crazy, but I'm happy. I do want to make more Harry Potter channels because, I'm a sassy young Slytherin, but running your own YouTube channel is hard on your own, so I've taken a pause. My favourite comment of the week was from Bryman J. Jason, who said, "My favourite period of history is from the shot that started World War I to the moon landing. I just enjoyed the escalation from a duke being shot and how that led people to the moon." Mate, I totally feel you. That absolutely is so interesting, and I wonder if Franz Ferdinand hadn't been shot, would people have ended up on the moon? It's a question. Sounds like a good question for Life's Biggest Questions, actually, our sister channel, so head on over there. Thank you guys for watching this video. Once again, please do leave a big thumbs up. If you haven't yet joined our most amazing family, then go ahead and do so now. We're poised to hit 6 million. Good. Great. I'll see you next time. Bye.